Today I was going to go over how to recruit people into your instructor training program, and then what the curriculum in the Google Classroom, how you can do that with your teen and adult one.
Okay.
Last week, and I posted it. I know you weren't here last week. Keith went over the junior program, kind of what that looks like in the classroom and getting started. So if you want to watch that video, that should be up on the YouTube channel, or I shared it with you through Messenger too.
Okay.
But today, when we look for instructors, like I mentioned before, we always are looking for who might be a potential leader or instructor. And, I don't always expect or require somebody to be that level of, running the class, because having the support for the person running the class is, to me, is just as important. Or if we have a special event or a school event or, a performance, just all kinds of stuff, you have all these trained leaders that can step in and help. So when I'm looking for someone, I'm looking for someone who is, one, very excited about martial arts. Two, I'm looking for someone that is teachable, that is hungry for learning, and three, that seems to get along well with other people. So those are kind of my three things that I look for. And then once I've kind of picked that person out, then I would approach them personally and just talk to them. And even if it's somebody that's not an adult, I would say, have you ever thought about helping out in classes or being an instructor someday? And then after that, then if they say yes, then I say, well, I'd like to sit down and talk to you and your parents about that.
Okay.
So just going from there. And of course, if it was an adult, then I would say, let's set a time to talk. And then at that point, you would invite them into your instructor training program when you have that meeting, but you kind of pre-framed what you're going to talk about, and then go from there. And just like we have a list of people that we want to invite to higher level programs, like a renewal list,
Right.
we also have a list of people we want to invite into the instructor training program. So it's a smaller list, but it's still a list of people that, I've handpicked, or like Keith and my team of head instructors, they said, have you thought about, and they're on the lookout too, because they know that we're always looking for that next person. So who do you think might be, a good helper in class someday, or who might be a good instructor? And they'll give me names of people to talk to also. And then once we have them in the class, they just kind of roll right in with the class as it's going on. And as I mentioned before, I teach the instructor training program on a block system. So anybody can jump in at any time, even though their requirements might be a little bit different. They still are learning how to be a leader, how to be an instructor. There's also a couple of different options on how to run your instructor training program. It's a little different than your leadership. You can run your leadership in every class, but the instructor training might be a special class of its own, or you might have people in that program stay a little bit after, because typically the adult class is the last class of the night. You could have them stay, dismiss class, and then have them stay for an extra 20 to 30 minutes. So they have an hour and a half class. I've seen people do it that way. I've done it that way. Or you could have a special once a month instructor training seminar, where you have 2 hours on the Saturday once a month, where you just do an intensive, and then, just keep up with them. So I don't know, what system do you think would work best for you?
Mine probably will be that one Saturday a month will be the best, because
Okay.
a lot of times the after adult class is late for kids can't stay. Some of the
Right.
teenagers, there's different levels of classes, so it's hard to get them all together. Saturday's much easier for me to get them all together.
Gotcha. And I like that too, because it's very focused. and I do a combination. Right now, I'm doing a one class a week for the instructor staff training, and then I do Saturday. I'll do a Saturday intensive also to kind of you know keep them fresh. But I'm going to share the screen and show you kind of how that works in the Google Classroom. Have you been in the Google Classroom yet
Uh,
online?
which let me see. You're talking about where'd it go? The classroom app.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I went there today and just looking through it a little bit
Okay.
and at the video, some of the videos and some of the things. Hello, some of the things a little bit. So
Well, let me share that screen and just kind of walk you through that, and I can show you, because you can go ahead. I mean, you've got enough material on here now. You could set your Saturday seminar today and have all your class ready to go, what you want to teach them. So let me
sure.
share that.
And I just want to make sure, Master Kim, you were able to get into the Google Classrooms, and then were you able to get into the Slack app?
Slack, I don't know yet.
Okay.
I did it right or not.
No worries. I'll send the link again. I'll see if you're in there. And are you receiving those texts that I reminded you with today, or?
On the text, I got reminder that the meeting today, and then
Okay, good.
the other one Slack wise, I signed up. I don't know I did it right or not. It says, let me double check. It says, where's my Slack? Martialarts Pro
Yes, sir.
at the heading at the top.
Yes, sir. That's correct. And let's
If that's
see.
correct, I don't know if you can, send me a message and I'll check whether I get it or not.
Yes, sir. I'll let you keep going, Mom. Sorry, and then I'll look on that.
Okay. All right. So on the screen here, we have, I just opened up a new tab in Google on Google Chrome. And over here is my profile picture. And then this is the apps. And then from there, I click on that and I can go to Google Classroom.
Okay.
And then here is the Google Classroom, which you have the junior leadership for the kids, and then you have the teen and adult instructor. So let's go into the teen and adult instructor. So once you get here, the next thing would be to go to class work. That's really where you're going to spend the most of your time. So I go to class work,
Okay.
and then I have the introduction, which is the full, like, level 1 through level 5, just the what's expected, and that's kind of something you can either hand out to your group, your class, or you can just keep that for yourself. I kind of like to let people know where they're at and where they're headed, so they have a copy of that.
Okay.
And then level 1, each level, so there's 5 levels, and each level has these same elements. You have your instructor training manual, and that is what I give to the students. So if they're at level 1, they get this manual.
Okay.
The next thing is, and you just click on it and it'll open up and you can print it out or email it to them however you want to.
Okay.
And then the class planners, this is the lesson plans for you that go with the manual. And I'll go over
Okay.
that in just a second. And then you have a written test that goes with it, and you have an answer key, and that's obviously for you to help you grade
Sure.
them better. So if you're doing a Saturday seminar, they have their manual that they can be reading and studying ahead of time, and you have your lesson plans on how to teach that. And if you like, you could tell them there is a written test at the end of the seminar, and the manuals are they're very robust. You could break this into 4 seminars. It just depends on how much information you want to give them and how much time you have. So you don't have to do the whole thing in one seminar. That would be quite a bit. It can be done, but you can spread it out too. So let's look at the class planners. So each plan is designed to be about 20 minutes. So you can see if there are 6 to 7 lessons, so that would be a very long day if you did all of them at one time.
Yeah.
And this just gives you some tips on how to do it either in a class setting or as a seminar. And you can just kind of read through that. But here's how they're designed. You have your lesson plan 1, teaching skills. And in this lesson, you're going to teach them how to set a specific goal for their class, for their lesson, what they're teaching. And each lesson plan, you just read through it and it'll tell you exactly how to teach it. And this is, like I said, for you.
Okay.
So you're going to have them, learn how to set a goal for their class. And they do this as a group. And if it is good for you to have everybody in one group, or if you want to break them up into smaller groups, you can do that. You can do that too. It just depends on the size of your class. One of the advantages to break them up into smaller groups for the activities is that it goes faster. Because if you have a large group and 10 people and everybody takes 2 minutes to do their activity, that takes a long time. So you can kind of play that by ear too. And then you have your next lesson plan, so they've done this one activity, and then maybe you have them do something else more martial arts related. And then you come back and you do another teaching drill. This one is how to explain and demonstrate the goal. And then you just go through and you have all of your lesson plans here. The teaching skill of varying methods of training. How are you going to practice this? So they set a goal. That's one lesson. They learn how to explain and demonstrate that goal to the class. And now they're going to actually start teaching it in this lesson. So it's very broken down, and it just takes them step by step through the teaching process. So if you remember, each manual has 3 sections. It has, let's see, we'll go back to the manual. All right, so those are the lesson plans, and those go with this manual. Each manual has 3 sections. It has a teaching section, so it's marked here on how, what are your teaching skills that you want your instructors to learn. And this goes right with setting goals, like the first lesson in the class planners. And then we have people skills, how to relate to people. And in your lesson plans, you'll have activities on how to teach them how to do this. And then thirdly, each manual has a leadership skill, and you'll have activities in the lesson plan on how to teach them to think like a leader, and how are you going to do that. So that's one of the things that I really want, is not just this information, but then the lesson plans on, you can pick that up and say, okay, today we're going to work on how to think like a leader, and you've got your lesson plans ready to go to be able to teach them that. So I really hope then that I have made it super simple for you to really train your instructors without having to, come up with stuff on your own. And you will come up with stuff on your own, because you'll see this and you'll think, oh, I could do that. And that's perfect, because it gets your mind thinking a little. You don't have to come up with something, without any inspiration.
Sure.
That's where we get stuck, I think.
So I can get on the classroom from the, I guess, Google Chrome, is it?
Uh-huh.
And then just type in, I guess, a classroom. Is that what I do?
When you go to Google Chrome, you'll pick this little icon right here. It looks like a little
Okay.
waffle.
Bunch of dots, yes.
Yeah. So when you click on that, it takes you to different things that you can do. Like if you want to go to your Gmail or you want to Google Map something, and it
Okay.
has this classroom in there.
Okay.
So that's what you click on.
And then type in the code.
And right. And then once you've done that, you should be perfectly fine. Once you've done the code, you're good to go.
Okay.
All right. And you shouldn't have to do the code every time.
Okay. Because I did on the phone. I got on the phone, but I didn't know, how to get on from because the phone was, I just got the app.
I see. Okay. So yeah, let's walk through it one more time. So I'm going to open up a new tab. And then, so I go to the little dots and I click on Google Classroom. And here I am with my different classrooms.
Okay.
And like you said, you'll probably have, if we go to team and instructor,